Can you replicate that in a classroom? Well, you can try to fake it, but it's not the same as actually, picking up the piece of food, combining them together, and as often happens, putting it on the stove and hopefully don't burn the food on the stove. But that's part of the immersion as well. That's the power to me. Opportunities for students to do things they can't otherwise. My name is Randall Sadler. I'm the director of the MA and TESL and the ESL programs here on campus. I've been doing stuff in virtual reality or high immersion for almost 20 years now. VR can allow us to have is these creative, immersive spaces. In IMMERSE, for example, you've got all those experiences, the different spaces ranging from homes to shops to whatever the case may be. Well, instantly, a space like that, again, immerses the students, but also gives them an interactive space where they can interact with the objects and they can interact with each other. By doing something like was done in the Spanish classes, right, where all these students who are taking Spanish suddenly have the opportunity, many of them for the first time, to be working with the teacher in this virtual environment and other students as well, to be in these immersive settings. It's very new for them, and that's so different from Zoom. Suddenly you're in spaces, you're getting lessons in that spaces, and not lessons that are spur of the moment, lessons that are carefully created. There's a lesson plan, there's thinking, there's theory behind the lessons and in the design of the spaces, so that it's making use of those to get students vocabulary, communication opportunities, even grammatical practice that, again, could they do that in the regular classroom? Yeah, but again, it's not nearly at the same level.
So I am the director of the Basic Spanish Language program at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. I wanted to incorporate VR because I wanted to see if VR worked for my students. And so I spoke with IMMERSE and we decided to try using IMMERSE in our classrooms.
So I was kind of reluctant about it, but it ended up being a really good experience overall. It was pretty user-friendly. It wasn't hard to get used to, and I did feel that overall it helped the anxiety factor, being in the virtual reality versus being in a classroom.
My assumptions with VR and IMMERSE specifically was that my students would get more practice speaking Spanish and learning how to pronounce in Spanish. It's very important for me that our students come out of our program being able to have as best a pronunciation as they can. I was assuming that with all the great feedback that IMMERSE gave with the pronunciation practice, the guided conversation, and with the live class sessions, that they would have more feedback, both from the AI in the pronunciation and guided practice, as well as in the live sessions.
I kind of was like a little bit of a Luddite and was like, oh, I don't really want to learn how to do this. But then once I kind of got over that mental block and actually really started using the technology, it became a lot of fun, and I think it really reduced anxiety, and it was just like I was learning without in a gamified setting without really thinking about the fact that I was learning, so I really enjoyed it.
I really liked working with IMMERSE. I think it was easy to implement in the classroom. I think my students, once they got the hang of the program, it was easy for them to complete the sessions. I think some of them even explored the more open spaces where you can go into a restaurant and go chat with live people. I think they enjoyed it, and actually to the point where my students were disappointed that we're not using it next semester.